Welcome to the Daily English Lab podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to have you here with me today. This is your go-to channel where we simplify the journey of learning English in a practical, engaging, and enjoyable way. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you're a regular listener, I'm excited to share this learning experience with you. If you're someone who wants to enhance your English speaking and listening skills, you're definitely in the right place. Today's episode is titled Stop Studying, Start Speaking. This is an incredibly vital topic for many English learners, especially those who find themselves at the intermediate level, often referred to as the B1 level. Perhaps you can understand English in reading materials, or you enjoy watching English language videos, but when the time comes to speak, you feel a wave of anxiety, confusion, or even complete silence. Does that sound familiar? If it does, I want to assure you that you are not alone. Many students worldwide experience the same struggles. Countless individuals invest significant time studying grammar rules, expanding their vocabulary, and completing exercises, yet they still lack the confidence to speak. The core issue is straightforward. They study too much and speak too little. This episode is crafted specifically for B1 level English learners who are eager to move beyond passive study and start using English actively in their daily lives. Understanding the importance of speaking is not merely an activity that follows study. It is a fundamental aspect of how we learn and grow as language users. Today, we will delve into why traditional studying methods often fall short, why speaking is the true key to achieving fluency, how you can begin speaking today, even if you don't reside in an English-speaking country, and practical tips to incorporate speaking practice into your everyday routine. My goal is to make this episode clear and accessible, filled with actionable ideas you can start using right away. So, find a comfortable spot, relax, and listen closely. You're welcome to repeat some sentences after me for additional practice. Let's take this journey together. It's time to stop studying and start speaking. The limitations of traditional studying. Let's dive into a crucial aspect of learning English. We need to discuss the conventional methods most learners adopt and why they often fail to yield the desired results. When individuals embark on their English learning journey, they typically follow a traditional study path. You might have experienced this yourself, purchasing grammar books, meticulously learning various tenses such as present simple, past perfect, and future continuous, and attempting to memorize grammar rules to apply them correctly. You may also have created extensive vocabulary lists, writing down dozens of new words each day. While these practices have their benefits, there is a significant drawback. Most students invest all their time studying English without actually using it in conversation. They don't engage in speaking practice or attempt to hold conversations. They often wait for the elusive feeling of readiness, which may never come. You may wonder, but I study diligently and know so many words. Why can't I speak with confidence? This is a common frustration. Many learners understand English well. They follow movies, grasp lessons from their teachers, and read articles with ease. Yet, when it's their turn to express themselves, their minds go blank. They forget words, feel shy, or are afraid of making mistakes. This isn't your fault. It's a natural outcome of traditional studying, which captures only half of the learning journey. To illustrate this concept, let's use a relatable analogy. Imagine you want to learn how to swim. You watch countless instructional videos, read books detailing the proper techniques, and memorize the names of various swimming styles, freestyle, backstroke, butterfly, but you never step into the water. Do you think you'll become a proficient swimmer? Obviously not. The same principle applies to learning English. You can study grammar rules and learn vocabulary until the end of time, but without practical use of the language, you won't develop into a confident speaker. English is not merely an academic subject like math or history. It's a living and breathing language. It serves as a bridge for connecting with others, expressing thoughts and feelings, and sharing ideas. The most effective way to learn a language is through active usage, particularly by speaking it. Many students hold the misconception that they must attain perfection before they can speak. They think, I need to study more, master all the tenses, and learn thousands of new words before I can begin speaking. Unfortunately, this mindset is counterproductive. It hinders your growth and progress. Consider how babies learn to speak. They don't pore over grammar books or compile vocabulary. lists. Instead, they listen, repeat, and attempt to communicate, making plenty of mistakes along the way. Gradually, they improve. Our brains are wired to learn languages through action, not merely through study. Additionally, many traditional English classes focus heavily on writing and grammar tests. You might excel in school because you can write well, but when faced with a native speaker or a real-life conversation, you suddenly feel lost. This disparity illustrates that knowing English and using it effectively are two entirely different things. That if you're dedicating all your energy to studying grammar and vocabulary, yet still find it challenging to speak, it's time to shift your approach. It's not a matter of intelligence or effort. It's simply about not practicing the skill you truly wish to develop: speaking. The key message: speaking is essential. The key takeaway here is this: studying is beneficial, but only by speaking can you truly become a speaker. If your goal is to communicate fluently and confidently in English, you must practice speaking regularly, even if just for a few minutes each day. Don't be afraid. Don't wait. Start small and start today now. Let's explore one of the most vital components of language learning: speaking. Speaking is not just another skill. It's the heart of language acquisition. If your objective is to speak English well, then speaking should be your primary focus. Why is speaking so crucial? First, we need to remember the fundamental purpose of language: communication. Language exists primarily to help us connect with others. We use it to express our thoughts, emotions, and desires. We employ it to ask questions, tell stories, offer opinions, and understand one another. And how do we achieve this? Through speaking. If language is fundamentally about communication, then speaking is the most natural and effective way to practice. Reflect on how you use your native language. Do you spend most of your time studying grammar books? No. You engage in conversations, listen, respond, and interact. That's the essence of genuine communication. Consider how children acquire their first language. They don't begin by mastering grammar rules or compiling vocabulary lists. They absorb the language from those around them: parents, family members, and friends who speak to them daily. They hear the same words repeatedly, and slowly, they begin to mimic those words. Initially, their speech may be slow and limited, but over time, they improve without worrying about grammar or making errors. They continue to speak because that's how they learn, through use, not mere study. That it's essential for you to grasp this concept. You learn to speak by speaking, not by studying. Let me reiterate: you learn to speak by speaking. Studying helps you understand the rules. Reading expands your vocabulary. Listening familiarizes you with word usage. But only speaking cultivates confidence, fluency, and the ability to respond spontaneously. Think about acquiring other skills in life. For instance, can you learn to play the guitar solely by reading about it? No. You must pick up the guitar and practice. Or consider learning to drive a car. You can't master it just by watching YouTube videos. You need to get behind the wheel and drive. The same principle applies to speaking English. The only way to improve is through practice with your voice, not just your eyes and brain. When you speak, your brain engages in a unique process. It begins to connect words, phrases, and grammar naturally. You stop overthinking and start using the language. The more you speak, the more effortlessly your brain retrieves the right words. Over time, speaking becomes easier and more instinctive. Additionally, speaking aids in better vocabulary retention. When you vocalize a new word in a sentence, you're more likely to remember it as part of your active vocabulary. Conversely, if you merely read or write the word, it may remain in your passive memory. You recognize it but struggle to use it in conversation. Many learners experience anxiety or fear when it comes to speaking. They worry about making mistakes. However, this fear can stifle growth. It's crucial to recognize this truth. Mistakes are an integral part of the learning process. Every proficient English speaker, including native speakers, makes mistakes. Don't postpone speaking until you feel perfectly prepared. That day may never arrive. Begin speaking today, using whatever English you have at your disposal. Start with simple words and short sentences. This is how you cultivate genuine fluency. Even speaking to yourself is beneficial. When you articulate your thoughts in English, even when alone, you train your brain, tongue, and voice to work in harmony. Overcoming the fear of mistakes now. Let's address a common barrier that prevents many individuals from speaking English: the fear of making Mistakes. This fear can be debilitating. Many English learners refrain from speaking because they dread saying something incorrectly. They worry someone will laugh at them, correct them, or fail to understand. Perhaps you've experienced this yourself. You want to say something, but then you hesitate, thinking, what if I say it wrong? What if I use the wrong word? What if my grammar is off? Here's the truth. Making mistakes is not something to fear. It's a vital part of the learning process. Let me emphasize that again. Mistakes are good. They facilitate learning and growth. Every time you make an error, you gain new insights. You learn what works and what doesn't, and you remember better next time. A mistake isn't the end. It's a step forward. Think about how children acquire their first language. They make countless mistakes, often saying amusing things or constructing sentences incorrectly. But do they stop speaking? Absolutely not. They continue to talk, to try, and that's how they improve. By making mistakes as a language learner, you are not expected to be perfect. Perfection is not the goal. Effective communication is. Your mission is to speak, try, and express yourself. Even if you make mistakes while speaking, something powerful happens in your brain. It recognizes the inaccuracy and works to correct it, leading to better retention of the correct form. For instance, if you say, he go to school every day, and someone gently corrects you, oh, it should be he goes to school every day. That interaction helps you remember the rule better than if you had merely read it in a textbook. Why? Because it's rooted in experience, not just theory. Moreover, when you make mistakes and continue to speak, you build something incredibly valuable: confidence. You learn that mistakes are not dangerous. They are a normal part of the learning journey. The more you speak and make minor mistakes, the less intimidated you become. This is how confidence develops. You might think, but what if people laugh at me? The reality is, most people won't laugh at you. In fact, many will admire your effort to speak a second language. They understand it's not easy. And if someone does laugh or correct you, don't let it deter you. Use it as an opportunity to learn, smile, and keep going. Remember, the only individuals who never make mistakes are those who never attempt to try. If you're making mistakes, it signifies that you're trying, learning, and progressing, which is something to take pride in. You don't need perfect English to speak. You need courageous English, the kind that isn't afraid to be imperfect, the kind that is sincere, natural, and used daily. So, the next time you feel anxious about speaking, remind yourself, it's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are stepping stones to fluency. If I don't speak, I won't improve. So I will speak. I'll speak in class, with friends, to myself, and into my phone. Just speak. To summarize, mistakes are a natural and essential part of learning. You cannot grow if you don't make errors. Each mistake aids your brain in learning and improving. Confidence emerges through speaking, even when you're not perfect. So take pride in your efforts. Don't wait for perfection. Just speak. Creating your English-speaking environment. Now that you grasp the significance of speaking and understand that mistakes are beneficial for your learning, you might wonder, how do I start speaking today, especially if I don't live in an English-speaking country or lack practice partners? The great news is that you don't have to wait for the perfect moment or the ideal partner. You can start speaking English today, right now, on your own. There are numerous ways to practice speaking. Even when you're alone, one of the simplest methods is to engage in self-talk. Yes, indeed. You can converse with yourself in English at home, in your room, or while strolling outside. Describe what you're doing, what you see, or how you feel. For example, while cooking, you might say, now I'm chopping vegetables, or I need to boil the water. When walking, you could comment, the sun is shining brightly today, or I see a dog running. This may feel a bit strange at first, but it's highly effective. Talking to yourself allows you to practice vocabulary, grammar, and fluency all at once, building confidence in your ability to form sentences quickly. Another excellent strategy is to find a speaking partner. You don't need someone who speaks perfect English. Just connect with someone who wants to practice, just like you. There are many apps and websites dedicated to language exchange, and you might even find language learning groups on platforms like Telegram or Facebook. Additionally, you can use Zoom or Skype to arrange weekly speaking calls. Regular conversations with someone else can significantly accelerate your speaking improvement and add an enjoyable social element to your learning journey. If you're not quite ready for live conversations, consider sending voice messages. This serves as a great intermediary step between speaking to yourself and engaging in real-time discussions with someone else. You can exchange voice messages through apps like WhatsApp or Telegram. Share quick greetings, talk about your day, or express your thoughts on various topics. This method allows you to think before speaking, helping you practice pronunciation and sentence structure, all while reducing pressure. Another powerful technique is called shadowing. This involves listening to someone speaking English from a video, podcast, or audio clip, and then repeating what they say immediately or in sync with them. You mimic their pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm, effectively becoming their shadow. This technique trains your mouth and ears to sound more fluent and natural. Start with short sentences and pause to repeat after them. If the speed is too fast, you can slow down the audio for better comprehension. Over time, your pronunciation and fluency will noticeably improve. Lastly, consider recording your voice and listening to it. Many learners shy away from this because they dislike the sound of their own voice, but it's one of the most effective ways to enhance your speaking skills. Recording yourself makes you more aware of your pronunciation, speed, and grammar. By comparing your speaking with that of native speakers, you can identify areas for improvement. Don't shy away from hearing your own voice. It's a valuable learning tool. You might record a short story, share your opinion on a topic, or even keep a diary entry in English. Try this daily, and you'll likely see remarkable progress. All these methods encourage active practice, not passive learning. You're not just listening or reading, you're using the language actively. And that's how fluency is cultivated, through consistent, real-life use of English, not just theoretical study. I invite you to choose one of the methods we've discussed and start today. Don't wait until tomorrow or until you feel completely prepared. You're ready right now. Speak to yourself, record your voice, find a language exchange partner, or try shadowing your favorite English speakers. These small steps can lead to significant changes. You don't need a perfect environment. You can create your own English-speaking world right where you are. Making speaking a part of your daily routine, even for just 10 minutes, can lead to impressive improvement. Daily practice ideas for speaking. Many learners often ask, how can I practice speaking English every day? They understand the importance of speaking and want to improve, but they may not know where to start or how to maintain progress. If this sounds familiar, don't worry. I've got you covered. Let's kick off with one of the simplest and most effective practices. Talk about your day for just 5 minutes every day. Choose a specific time, perhaps in the morning or before bed, and speak aloud about your day. Discuss what you did, how you felt, what you enjoyed, or what challenges you faced. There's no need for perfection, just speak. For example, today I woke up at 7 a.m., made coffee, and then went to work. My boss assigned me a new task, and although I felt a bit nervous, I gave it my best shot. This is authentic speaking. It aids in remembering useful phrases and helps you connect English with your real-world experiences, which is invaluable for fluency. Next, take a look around you and describe your surroundings in English. What do you see? For instance, I see a cozy white chair. There's a desk beside the window. On the desk, there's a laptop and a notebook. Practicing this way allows you to learn vocabulary naturally and use descriptive words like on, under, next to, and between, which are essential for effective communication. You can even do this while walking outside. The sky is bright blue. There are 2 birds flying. A man is riding a bike. This method is enjoyable and an excellent way to practice thinking in English. Another effective idea is to ask and answer your own questions. While this may seem amusing at first, it's a fantastic way to prepare for real conversations. Pretend you're engaging with someone else by asking yourself questions like, what's your favorite food? And then answer, my favorite food is pizza. I love the cheese and the crispy crust. Follow up with, why do you like it? And respond. Again, practice common topics such as your hobbies, job, family, or favorite movies. The more you practice this way, the easier real conversations will become, training your brain to think quickly in English. If you ever feel stuck on how to start speaking, consider using simple conversation starters. Phrases like, today I want to talk about, let me tell you about my weekend, or here's what happened today, can help you begin your speaking practice without overthinking. Once you start, words will begin to flow naturally. Remember, even if you make mistakes, that's perfectly fine. The goal is to speak and build confidence, not to achieve perfection. And here's an essential point to remember. You don't need a long time to practice. Just 5 to 10 minutes a day can lead to real progress. The key is consistency. By speaking English daily, even if only for a brief period, you'll become more comfortable, natural, and prepared to engage with others. You can also utilize your phone to facilitate this habit. Set a timer for 5 minutes and start speaking. Use a voice recorder to track your practice. Some learners even maintain an English speaking diary where they speak instead of write. For example, they might say, "Hello, this is my English speaking practice. Today and continue from there. This is your private space. No one is judging or watching. It's your time to grow. If you commit to these simple practices, talking about your day, describing your environment, asking yourself questions, and utilizing conversation starters, your speaking skills will undoubtedly improve. You'll notice that words come to you more swiftly, and you'll feel more self-assured. One day, when someone converses with you in English, you'll respond with a smile instead of anxiety. Remember, daily practice builds strong habits, and those habits lead to tangible change. So, don't wait for the perfect moment. Start today. Speak a little every day and enjoy the learning process. You're not just learning English. You're cultivating a new skill, a newfound confidence, and a unique way to express yourself to the world. Staying motivated and consistent now that you've gathered practical tips for incorporating daily speaking into your routine, let's discuss motivation and why it's crucial to stay consistent. Learning a language can sometimes feel like a long and winding road. However, I want to remind you that small, consistent steps yield substantial progress. This is why daily speaking practice is so powerful. First and foremost, commit to speaking every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. You don't need to dedicate hours to speaking each day. A few moments of practice can add up significantly. Over time, when you engage in daily speaking, you cultivate a habit, and habits are the foundation of success. There's no need to wait for the perfect moment or feel obliged to speak for hours on end. Just set aside 5 minutes each day. If you stick with this routine, you'll be astounded by how much your speaking improves. Another critical aspect to remember is that you don't have to speak perfectly. Many learners believe they must achieve perfection before they can articulate their thoughts, but this mindset can prevent you from speaking at all. It's entirely okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are an integral part of learning and a sign that you are actively trying and improving. So, don't hold off until you feel flawless or until you've mastered every word or rule. Speak now. If people understand you, you're doing wonderfully. Mistakes are opportunities for growth, so embrace them. Speaking also fosters your confidence. Initially, you might feel shy or anxious. This is normal. However, the more you speak, the more at ease you will become. Every time you engage in English conversation, you take a step forward, building confidence in your ability to communicate. Remember that confidence isn't innate. It's something you develop through practice. I believe in you. I recognize that. It's not always easy, but if you commit to speaking every day, even if just for a couple of minutes, you will improve. Don't compare yourself to others or fret about achieving perfection. The most crucial element is to speak. Don't wait for the right time or perfect conditions. Start today. Make it a point to integrate speaking into your daily routine. Whether you're conversing with yourself, recording your voice, finding a language partner, or exploring any of the other methods we discussed, just commit to doing it daily. Be patient with yourself and celebrate your progress along the way. Conclusion and encouragement. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Daily English Lab podcast. I sincerely hope you feel inspired and encouraged to start speaking English every day. Remember, the key to improvement is consistent practice. Start small, and over time, you'll witness significant changes in your speaking abilities. Now, I have a small challenge for you. Pick one speaking tip from today's episode and implement it right now. Whether it's discussing your day, describing your surroundings, or engaging in a Q&A with yourself, just start speaking. The more you practice, the more confident you will become. If you found this episode beneficial, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could share it with friends who are also learning English. The more people we can support, the better. Feel free to share the podcast on social media or send the link to someone who might enjoy it. And, of course, if you want to continue receiving helpful tips and practice ideas like these, be sure to subscribe to the Daily English Lab podcast. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode and will always have fresh ways to enhance your English skills. Thanks once again for tuning in. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and remember, every step counts on this journey. You're doing an incredible job, and I believe you can achieve your goals.